And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all for tapping in. We appreciate y'all leaving comments. I appreciate the comments that go, and ... we back, or they'll do the finger emoji.
Yeah.
We back. I appreciate all the engagement that we get on those and all the questions that are asked. We appreciate y'all for engaging with us. We're gonna talk about the Bucs defense.
Yeah.
But Brian, we be talking about that stuff begrudgingly. We talk about it with attitudes, Bryan Broaddus. It's the topic prior to that, or the draft stuff around it, that we really enjoy. Bryan, I was thinking about something earlier. I wanted to bring it to you, and it's really popped back up in my mind as I'm watching Thursday Night Football here. Man, Bryan, if your last name, it could be Broaddus. Your last name could be Broaddus, right? But if your title was head coach Bryan Broaddus, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your surname, ain't that what it is? Like a surname, head coach Bryan Broaddus, whatever.
Surname, head coach, yeah.
If you could change something about the Dallas Cowboys philosophically, you look at the LA Chargers, and boy, they're this gunslinging team, and they lose at the end, and they make weird decisions, and they get a new coach, and all of a sudden, we want to run the football. Justin Herbert's going to throw the ball not that much. We're going to play tough-ass defense. Bo Nix is a guy that I didn't have a whole ton of faith in. But if he's in a system with a good play call and a fantastical defense, Bryan Broaddus, you can make some things work around here. The Lions defense, as much as we give the Lions offense credit, defensively, they kind of hold it down in these games. Pat Mahomes is always going to get credit for winning games, but Pat's been looking weird this year. It's the Chiefs' defense. And I just wonder, Bryan, has the league transitioned to more defense now? Or we look at what Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley are doing, and we go, man, is this a running back league now, Bryan Broaddus? What philosophically, if your surname was head coach Bryan Broaddus, what would you do philosophically about this team to change it? You got damn right. That's a good question, Bryan. You got damn right, Bryan. No, you're right. Take your time. Take your time. Yeah. Take your time.
Philosophy-wise, I would hire a general manager. I would hire a general manager. I would hire a general manager that is like your traditional general managers. Okay, now let me be honest here too. Joe Douglas just got fired with the Jets.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Traditional football general manager. Worked in it sounded like a terrible toxic situation when it comes to, his authority and what he was able to do and how they made moves. But I would hire a traditional general manager here, and I would hire a traditional general manager that goes on the road and scouts college players. And, this general manager here and what Will McClay does, and I'll give Will McClay credit for this because he doesn't get to go out on the road a whole hell of a lot. He's essentially he's your director of player personnel. I mean, he's in charge of the college and pro scouting side of things. Yeah. You need somebody that's out there every single day when it comes to being on the road, when it comes to being with the team, when it comes to making moves, when it comes to the evaluation aspects. This gentleman who's currently the general manager is a billionaire. He's a billionaire businessman who's taken the approach of Al Davis. Mr. Davis, a long time ago in 1989, told him, he goes, Jerry, you don't need a general manager. You can do this job. It's not the case anymore. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think you need to have guys and gals that are traditional types of general managers that go out and do the legwork and are there the day-to-day operation, the nuts and bolts. Things pass by Jerry's desk, but can Jerry Jones tell you what the New York Giants on defense 2 deep looks like? Can he tell you where at Ohio State, where right now the best players are at Ohio State, who the best players are, where this draft might be a little more deep or not as deep? I think that's where I would go. It's not I don't think I would change. I understand the salary cap stuff. I mean, and I say I understand it, that I could see why they don't want to spend the money, because they do believe in Let's sign our own. Let's draft them. Let's develop them. Until all of a sudden, it's like we can't sign Oso Digizua. We can't sign Pollard. We can't sign Jordan Lewis. It's a really great plan until you can't keep your best players and some of your best players. So to me, I think a general manager navigates that better. The guy that's in there understanding who's playing in the league, who's in this college draft, and how we need to navigate the cap, the trades, and everything else involved. You have an owner that's the general manager that's a very successful businessman, hugely successful businessman. Blue Star Gas, Blue Star Properties, Blue Star this, Blue Star that, all these things. Very successful. That takes his focus away from his football team at times. That I would change. Because what happens is, by the way they operate, they try to come to a consensus with how they make their moves. And so by coming to a consensus means you have to meet and talk about, instead of one guy making the decision, one guy saying, we're taking this guy. We're signing this guy. We're going to run this scheme. I'm going to hire this coach. Consensus football, to me, I understand. I love having a say, but not to the point where I'm having to deal with, okay, was I the last guy to get to this general manager before he makes a decision?
Sure.
Give me one guy or gal that could be in that chair and the nuts and bolts of everyday football, drafting, or the school calls, the building of the team, the practices, no studying tape, just sitting down and just grinding tape all day on players and trying to poach somebody from a practice squad. Give me that person. That's what I would change, because I don't think they do that, because I think they now have to go through all these meetings and to get the general manager up to speed.
So basically what you're saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, you're saying that this team needs some urgency at the top, that the leadership needs to move with a different type of urgency, is what you're saying.
I think there's too much discussion and not enough reaction, or not enough. I should say reaction. I should say, what would it be if you? Reaction would be reactive. So, but what proactive?
Proactivity.
I guess is what,
proactivity.
Yeah, I think they need to be more proactive. I think that guy in Philadelphia is very proactive. I need somebody, and not that Howie is this kind of maybe kicks my theory or my desire to have a guy that goes out and scouts every day. But I worked for a guy in Ron Wolf, who's a Hall of Fame general manager, who he didn't have to go out, but he did. He went out and saw all the top schools. Like he would go out for 3 or 4 days. He would, make a run. Maybe the team was playing in, for example, teams playing in North Carolina, Charlotte, playing the Panthers. Ron would go out early. He would hit North Carolina. He'd hit Duke. He might hit, somebody else in that area, Florida State. Maybe goes, he hit 3 schools, and then he would meet the team for the game. I think you need that kind of guy or gal that is when it comes time to making decisions, it was his decision. He had the information in hand and he was ready to go. He would sit down and watch the free agents that we were looking at. He would sit down and watch the guys that we were trying to poach. Yeah. You don't have that here. That doesn't have the time. The guy is a billionaire businessman, and good for him. I mean, he's they need somebody where they don't have to stop and have a meeting for 2 or 3 days in order to make a decision, where Ron Wolf made in an afternoon. I would change that. I would hire a real nuts and bolts general manager is what I would do.
So, because in my mind, when I first asked the question, Bryan,
Yeah.
And I love the way you talked about this. When
I lived that. I did live that.
Yeah.
And that's why it means a lot to me, because I felt like I said, I'd seen it done at a certain level, and then it went to another level. I appreciate everything that the Jones family has done for me as far as giving me 2 careers, whether it's as a scout or in DallasCowboys.com. I owe the Jones family a lot. It hurts me to see, though. It hurts me to see that I've seen it done a certain way and had success that way. Yeah. And now they're struggling with that. It's not wins and losses, though, but it's just, it could be so much better. If they put Will in charge and let Will make the everyday decisions, or if they went out and got somebody, but somebody needs to be that nuts and bolts guy or gal and be able to make decisions right there on the spot for the betterment of the football team.
And you think that since that person's last name is not Jones, that they'll be willing to take more risk. They will try to win it in like 2 or 3 years, because they may not be here in year 4 or 5.
Right, exactly. There'll be a little bit more sense of urgency about it, and the philosophy. I love the fact they love to draft. I love to draft too. I love to work on the draft, but I also worked in pro personnel over there, and I helped him sign Leroy Glover. I mean, I've helped him sign some players. I tried to recommend Charles Woodson, and Parcells killed me for it. In front of the Joneses, and that's fine. But there was a time where I felt like that we really tried to do some things, and I don't know that anymore. I think they are, it's too much. Instead of getting stuff done now, we have to have a meeting. We have to get everybody up to speed to what we're trying to do here. And I think that's, to me, that puts them kind of on their back foot at times when it comes to, hey, we need to be very proactive in getting this contract done. We need to be very, as a general manager, hey, my responsibility is with the cap guy to get this deal done. We're not waiting around till 2 days before training camp to get something done. Either we've made the decision to sign Dak, or we're not going to sign Dak. That's how it's going to work. It wasn't, to me, it took entirely too long. Yes, they got the deal done, but it also affected the way that they were able to operate. I think a real general manager, I say real, a current general manager.
Somebody that only does general managing.
Yeah, somebody, Ron Wolf, or just pick your general manager.
Their life is general managing. Yeah.
Les Snead at the Rams. Their job. Sean McVay does what he needs to do. Les Snead does what he needs to do. And it's for the team. If Les Snead says F them picks, and we're trading all these picks and going out and getting players, F them picks, here we go.
Definitely.
It's not something that, okay, we have to have a quorum, and the senator from Arkansas hears from the senators from Texas who hears, it's just
get it done.
How about get it done? Get it done. Yeah. And we I don't think we have that advantage right now.
See, man, Bryan,
that's what I would change.
See, man, Bryan, when I asked you, man, in my mind, I was like,
you were thinking players.
I was thinking scheme and coaching. Like if you had to pick a different,
the general manager could look at the head coach and say,
that's my next point.
We're not good enough here.
That's my next point. There was this point I always used to make when people would blame Jerry, right? And I would be like, yeah, but Jerry's biggest problem is he don't hire the right coaches. Like I think that's his direct input or whatever. Like that's his biggest impact. Like him not hiring the right coaches. And I wonder
if you were to get fired, you would hire the right coach.
Yes. Yeah. Like being stuck in your ways, trying to prove that you're right, could be detrimental to the big picture of this thing. So you were one level ahead of me, because if it was me, I'm like, yeah, get a new coach in here that's going to do X, Y, Z. But in your mind, if you have the proper general manager, then it just trickles down from there.
Yeah, the right general manager, if he or she is good enough, can identify and this is how this really works though to me, Vosh. If you get the right general manager, they're the ones that are going to schools and seeing college coaches work.
Mhm.
They're studying pro tape and they're seeing what the good schemes are. They're sitting down and really watching the Detroit Lions every day,
Sure.
and they're watching the Rams and they're watching the Buccaneers, or they're watching these guys.
Mhm.
They're watching these teams and they're watching these schemes, and they're sitting there going, damn, that Atlanta Falcons offensive line is badass on tape. I'm just saying the Falcons, but or boy, that Seattle Seahawk running back room. I mean, they've got whoever's coaching those running backs. Then all of a sudden, you know what that turns into? Me jotting down a note to myself, check on availability of this coach.
And Jerry can't dig into the nuances because he's talking to the World Cup and Doritos people at the damn Olympic
Committee. And you know what? That's the business he's chose. This team has allowed him, this football team with its fan base has opened the doors to him to a whole new universe. Jerry Jones, who checked into a rent-a-car place one time at Dallas Love Field, and they told him they cut his credit card in half in front of him. He tells that story. Tell us the story about the time that he was leveraged up to his eyeball. Desperate Jerry was a better general manager. Jerry Jones, that was losing $2-3 million a month in the 90s, was a better general manager. You know why? He was desperate. He was desperate to make this work. And this team has opened the door for him and his family, generational wealth. And Jerry's made all these other owners billionaires too, by the way. He's made all these other owners billionaires. Like, when we were in Green Bay, we were getting an $8 million check from NFL Properties for our merchandise. Yeah. And we were like, woohoo, all right, $8 million, here we go. Geez, Jerry make that in a weekend. Selling jerseys and hats and T-shirts and margaritas and stuff. This man knows how to do that stuff. Yeah. And I wonder if he was able to do things full time, if he was able to be full time. He's also 80 years old. This was kind of my hope for Steven, that you know what, family business is family business. Go be a full-time general manager, but he's not. Now he's a billionaire too. He's not. He's not like you and I. If you and I were a general manager of that team, we'd be scared to death for our jobs, and we'd be doing everything we can to make the team better that way. We would use all avenues. Let me tell you the best thing that happened to the Eagles. Chip Kelly went in there. Howie Roseman was running the personnel department and all that, like the general manager guy. They hired Chip Kelly. What'd Chip Kelly do? He convinced Jeff Lurie to put Howie Roseman aside. What'd Howie Roseman do for 2 years? He sat over there and got pissed.
Yeah.
He got pissed. And you know what he said after that? He goes, you know what? I ain't ever sitting out of this game again. Yeah. I ain't sitting over here and watching some college coach come in here and F up my team. Mm-hmm. That's the best thing that ever happened to Howie Roseman, but the worst thing that happened to the rest of us who hate the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. He got mad because that coach came in and said, I can do it my way. I'm going to run a really fast-paced offense, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to nutrition, and I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And Howie's like, okay, I'm going to sit over here and close my door and wait for you to F this thing up.
We don't need McCoy. We don't need Macklin and
no.
Deshaun Jackson can go. Yeah.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. That's, to me, him getting removed for a couple of years, that motivated him to go and be what he is today. To the way they get after their cap, the way they trade, the way they manage to have an extra pick in every round. It seems like, it's impressive what they do. It really, really is. It's, do they get every pick right? Hell no, they don't. No, they busted on that wide receiver. everybody else was taking an all-pro wide receiver, and they took that kid out of TCU. Rager.
Yeah.
But
they go for it every year though. Like they do.
They do.
They make improvements.
You could live with a go for it every year guy.
Yeah.
You could go for, hey, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, as they say, especially not in the NFL. They fire these coaches after 1 year, but as a general manager, I would love for this organization to have a traditional general manager, and that guy or gal might F it up too. But I would love to see it where that person was that had the authority to make decisions today and not 3 or 4 or 5 days from now.
That's a fantastic discussion, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah, it's a good question. It really was a good question. It made me think because, like I say, I think there's things with the players that they could do better, sure.
Yeah.
But you give me somebody and I worked for a Hall of Fame general manager who didn't have to go on the road every day, but he did because he wanted to know about the league. He wanted to know about the draft. He wanted to know what he was going to have to compete with and compete for. And I think that gives you a different perspective of how you need to build your football team.
Man, I kind of don't even want to talk about Tampa Bay after that, Bryan Broaddus. Man, I don't even...
Their numbers are bad.
Yeah.
I think their defense is better than how their numbers are. I think it's very similar to Dallas. And I say this in a way, I think Dallas's defense is getting better.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're getting healthy. They're getting healthy.
Yeah, I think there's things with Tampa that, they've got their pass rush in the middle of the defense, I think is quality.
Yeah.
They're going to blitz you, and you're not very good at as a quarterback, handling pressure.
Yeah.
You're below 5 yards of completion when you have to deal with pressure. Your quarterback doesn't move particularly well. This team is they're going to blitz you from the secondary. They're going to blitz you from the linebacker spot. They're going to push your middle. On the outside, they're going to give you cushion, not as much cushion as you got last week against Carolina, but they're going to give you some cushion. They've been really banged up in the secondary. They're going to play a lot of zone. They're going to play single high on you. And and they're going to try and keep everything in front of them is what they're going to do. So you have to be ready for movement on the front with the twists, linebacker David on a blitz, and somebody from the secondary blitzing as well, because they're going to try and create pressure that way. The run defense, people are attacking them on the outsides,
sure,
on the edges, because Vita Vea is tough to deal with in the middle.
Yeah,
if you need a really good game from the 3 inside dudes.
Yeah,
BB, Smith, and Hoffman. You need a good game because they've got a couple of these guys inside that are pretty good, pretty hard to deal with.
From the film that I watched, Bryan, I think that defensively they had their best game last week with what they did versus the Chargers. Like they muddied up the looks, and David and Britt and all those guys were just kind of flying all over the place, and the DBs did a really good job of covering over there, Bryan. I was pleasantly surprised, and that was the first game I watched, right? Because I was like, all right, cool. Well, let's see what happened with the Charger game, because they beat the hell out of the Chargers, and that defense really did a number on them, Bryan.
Yeah, they've got some guys. I mean, we've studied the Logan Halls, in the drafts. Cansey, we've studied him in drafts. It's Antoine Winfield. I don't know if Winfield. I was talking to my friend down there in Tampa.
Yeah.
Not sure if Winfield's going to play. Didn't practice today, being Thursday. If you're watching this, the next 2 days.
Winfield, Cade Otten, Tristan Wirfs, KJ Britt, which is huge. Britt was limited,
huge there. Yeah.
And Palmer was DNPs today.
Yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Yeah.
I don't think Winfield's going to play, but they've got like I say, McCollum, who was one of the corners. They kind of pick on him a little bit.
Yeah,
they've picked on Tyke Smith.
Yeah.
We looked at him,
sure.
In the draft, and they pick on him, but he's playing better. this Christian Izan is a good player for
Yeah.
them. He's number 29. He's a safety.
Yeah.
But they've really struggled. Man, I was talking to my friends down there. They really struggle with their health down there. It's been a problem.
Sure.
It's been a problem. And that's why they think that they've had some issues, with their defense, because they just haven't got the secondary where they need it to be. But health, we'll see if Winfield plays. I doubt he does. That would be a huge break for the Cowboys if he doesn't play.
Sure. 100%, Brian. And just getting a feel for him. I don't think that they did very much special. I don't think that they hide none of their looks. I just think they just kind of roll up and play. They don't do a whole bunch to like confuse you or anything like that. And I don't know if that'll benefit Cooper Rush or not, but you got to get these guys blocked. Like if you can block them up, you got a shot. But I think they really play well when the offense gets ahead. When the Bucs offense gets ahead, that's when they really get on your ass, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to give up. They actually, it's funny, they tackle well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of run after catch against these guys. They don't give up a ton of explosive plays, and they're going to play loaded box. And okay, when Dallas faces loaded box, I mean, this team is going to play. The Buccaneers played loaded box 58% of the time. That's the most in the NFL. Because of that single high safety look.
Yeah.
And what does Dallas do against loaded box? Dallas is one of the, they average like, 3.5 yards a carry when somebody plays loaded box.
Yeah.
And so that's bad. It's a hard reality for them right there. But that's what you're going to deal with. You're going to deal with the big inside guy, but what's funny, and I was curious about this because I have the ability to look at a metric that tells me when players are on and off the field. I didn't realize this. Opponents are averaging almost 5 yards a carry when Vita Vea is not on the field.
Yeah.
But when he's off the field, they're averaging 3.8.
When he's on the field, they give up 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, when he is off the field, it's 3.8. When he's on the field, they give up 5 yards a carry.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I would have never guessed that. But here's another thing too. I just looked up. They've allowed the most completions in the league in the passing game. Opponents have been successful plays 49% of the time in the passing game against these guys. Nobody, as I said, nobody plays more cover 3 than these cats.
I would like a little more context on that Vita Vea stat, because what if it's a situation like, all right, Vita's in the game, let's run outside, and
no, that's what teams do,
and the Bucs just not good outside.
That's exactly. And I'll give you the metric on that because I wrote it down for my pregame notes.
Please.
Opponents run the ball 56% of the time to the outside. Okay, that's the 4th most in the NFL. Dallas is number 1. Dallas is at 61%. So opponents run on the outside 61% of the time.
Sure.
The edges against Dallas, and the Buccaneers 4th most in the league.
Boy, Brian, it sure would have been nice to lead the league in outside runs when Tony Pollard was here, boy. It sure would have been.
You know what? I'm not opposed.
Fantastic.
I'm not opposed to in this game because Rico Dowdle. Where's Rico Dowdle run mainly? Inside.
Inside, but all over the place. But yeah, inside for sure. Yeah.
Inside.
CD and Turpin are the outside run guys.
There you go.
Yeah.
You go. All of a sudden, I'm not opposed to. If you want to mix this damn thing up, put Turpin in the backfield and run a couple of those plays like we talked about, the offset eye, and just try and hammer that edge, with Scooney or Ferguson, or try your best, to work off those edges. But this game, I don't think Dallas can score enough in this game.
Yeah, I don't think so.
This is very similar to me, and they almost beat Cincinnati. I think Dallas's defense can hold them in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dallas's offense can do enough. That's my problem, especially if it turns into pressures and safety and blitzes and linebacker blitzes, and they don't handle that very well because your quarterback is not very mobile.
Yeah, that
could be a problem.
Well, Bryan Broaddus, we appreciate your breakdown, man. And look, that first segment was really fantastic, sir. I might clip that up and we'll let more of the masses see that, Bryan Broaddus. That was a really good. That was really
well.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I could say I don't know. Hell, you know me. I talk way too much. I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But where are you on this then? Where are you? On this one?
Well, Bryan, when I first walked into the discussion with you, right?
It was about coaching.
It was more so about how can I make my team more malleable, and molding them into how can I become physical in like a year? You know what I'm saying? How do I insert leadership on this team, and how can I become physical? Leadership and physical. And how can I play better defense? I think we're getting back to running the ball and playing defense. And I don't think the Cowboys built themselves for that. They built themselves to pass the ball, to pass rush. You know what I'm saying?
They sure did. Get a lead, close a lead. Yeah.
But when you started making your points, it started changing how I started. Because look, I say this as a joke on my channel all the time. I say, you know what? Jerry Jones doesn't watch film on seventh rounders because he's a billionaire on a boat somewhere. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know who these guys are. He didn't know who Jonathan Mingo was till somebody walked up to him and said, well, what about him? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in my mind.
And then you make a decision to give a fourth round pick for that.
Crazy. So me listening to you, that makes me feel like, man, if we had more urgency, we might be tougher because we wouldn't sign soft players, or we'll bring in our having the ability to evaluate players would go up, right? Because right now we have to live and die by draft guys, right? And the area scouts and all those guys, they do a really good job here, Bryan Broaddus. But if you add a general manager that's also on that time, right? Because the tiebreaker could come down to the general manager that's seen more Johnny Manziel than Zach Martin. And he go, well, let me insert my opinion here. And his bias could be, oh, that's a flashy player, I know him. Or, oh, they played this game in AT&T Stadium, so maybe I'm familiar with da-da-da, but in real life, the less popular player may be tougher and better, you know? So when you started talking, starting at the top may be the thing that changes the philosophy here. Maybe we have an incorrect philosophy right now because the damn general manager wants to do things a certain kind of way, and that doesn't work. And hell, Bryan, man, one day, and it got to be when Mike McCarthy gets fired, because we'll never know now, but when he's packing up his belongings in his little U-Haul box, if we happen to be at the Star, let's just catch him on the way to the truck. Hey, yo, Mike.
Yeah.
Did you want to play Rico or Zeke?
Yeah.
That'll probably be.
I agree.
That'll probably be the only way we'll know.
Yeah.
I just want to buy Mike McCarthy a beer over at Concrete while he's packing up his things on his way out. He can be as honest as possible. Mike, I won't tell nobody. Or I won't tell nobody you said it.
Yeah.
Did you really want to? Was Rico really sick, and did you really want to start Zeke versus San Francisco?
Yeah.
And maybe if you play the right guys, maybe your toughness goes up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's to me, I always think about the coach as kind of low hanging fruit.
Sure.
The general manager might be low hanging fruit because things won't change.
Yeah.
But you asked me if I could change one thing. Give me the traditional general manager.
Also,
give me the guy that goes on the road.
Also, too,
that knows the team.
The coaches coach, but the GMs pick these guys.
They do. They pick the coaches.
They pick the players too. So, like, if you got what I'm saying is if you got a GM that can identify tough players,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if one of the scouts come out and say, "Hey man, what about this Tyler Guyton guy?" But you got a tough ass GM, and he say, "Hey man, he ain't tough for real."
Yeah. Yeah.
I
See,
talked to that guy.
this is too, and I'm sorry I keep using Philadelphia as an example.
No,
It's not my intent.
They're
It's
incredible.
not my intent, but they're going to win the division.
Mhm.
Philadelphia's going to win the division.
Yeah.
Philadelphia tried to do it with Nick Sirianni and a couple of coordinators that had never been coordinators before
Sure.
last year.
Yeah.
Started off well, ended badly. Fired both of the dudes. What do they go out and do?
Go get two proven guys.
They go get Vic Fangio. You know, they get Vic Fangio to leave the Miami Dolphins to come to Philadelphia and come coach. They are better on defense. They are much better on defense. They go get Kellen Moore. Whatever you think about Kellen Moore, sure. But Kellen Moore, over the years, has developed into a good offensive coordinator. Really has. They run the football, the passes down the field, some of the things that he really, really struggled with in Dallas, I think he's kind of gotten better at. But that's what they did. They went from having 2 first-year coordinators, Howie Roseman saying, Nick, we're not doing that bullshit anymore. We're not hiring 2 first-time coordinators anymore. We're going to get Vic Fangio and we're going to get Kellen Moore, and we're going to change this thing. And lo and behold, what have they done? They've changed this thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's general managing. That's what that is right there.
We'll leave it there, Bryan Broaddus. Fantastic question.
Fantastic question.
Got your notepad ready?
Notepad, hang on. Notepad, because Friday is draft day.
Yes, sir.
Friday is a draft day around
I've been
here.
writing this whole time, Bryan, but I've just been over here writing, just getting stuff ready for you, sir.
I know you've been writing. All right, shoot me my names. Who do I got?
So you've already watched this guy. You probably watched most of these guys, but this is who we're talking about tomorrow. So chat, y'all need to write these names down too.
Okay.
Wyatt Millam, the offensive lineman from West Virginia.
I have seen him, and he's going to drive you nuts in a good way or in a bad way too. Go ahead.
Both. Jack Sawyer, the edge from Ohio State.
Interesting cat. You should watch him. Yep, absolutely. Got him.
Mason Taylor, tight end from from your school there, from the LSU there.
Where am I? Which side?
On your left.
There we go.
There you go. And
Mason Taylor. Got it.
And I watched a game of this kid, and I'm gonna watch like 5 more.
Uh-huh.
Princely Human Yellen, pass rush from Ole Miss. Have you watched him yet?
No. I've heard about this cat though.
So the first thing that jumps out at me, and I'm gonna say this again tomorrow, so chat, just bear with me. I look at the game log, and all of his biggest games, he got 2 sacks in all those games
against big teams.
All the big games, he got 10.5 on the year.
Yeah,
I said, all right, cool. I'm gonna just go watch Georgia before I really watch him.
Would you put him in the category? Oh, I'll wait till tomorrow.
We'll talk tomorrow.
I got a question for you right off the jump about him, and I'll wait till tomorrow. How about that?
Did you see what I tweeted right before us coming on here?
No, I was scrambling with dinner and then to get to you. What did you tweet?
I'm gonna show you, Bryan Broaddus. I'm gonna show you. I like it better because you's a visual learner, Bryan.
Visual
Broaddus.
guy. I'm a visual learner.
You know what I'm saying? That's you. You's a visual character. I said this, Bryan Broaddus, and look, man, I'm messy, bro. You know me, Bryan. Voch says this, man, I'd rather have Wyatt Millam and Princely Human Yellen over some of these guys that's getting top 15 hype. And then I just posted a clip.
A couple clips. Yeah, there were a couple clips.
I just posted a clip of Princely Human Yellen getting busy versus Georgia. So, Bryan, hold all your thoughts.
Jeez.
Yeah, I got it. You damn right. You damn right. So,
hey, I can't wait to hear this thing about Millam, the West Virginia guy. I can't wait.
He is an interesting combination of traits.
Oh no, he's an interesting. Please. I will tell you though, I had a guy tell me he's got Zach Martin traits.
Well, that's a lie. That's a lie. But that's okay. Shouts out to your guy representing his players.
This guy's a long timer, man. This is a long timer right
He's
here.
a tall white guy that's 300 pounds. That's all he got in common with Zach Martin. That's it.
There you go. There you go.
He probably chopped trees or something. That's all he got in common with Zach Martin.
There you go. There you go.
But we'll talk about it tomorrow, Bryan.
We got it tomorrow, man.
VOCHLONBARDI. Please let me know how y'all feeling over there. Me and Bryan gonna put some work in for y'all. And Bryan Broaddus, he's gonna be offering some takes, and some solutions for y'all at 5 in the morning. Wait for me around 10 or 10 or 11 or so, and I got you. Hey, appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time. Y'all hold it down. Till tomorrow. Crown.